What's up, everybody out there on the World Wide Web? This is me, Real Mr. Will. I'm here with TyShame Lewis, Shameless Promotions. We are here on the Millionaire Mentor Mindset Podcast, bringing you the ABCs of building your and scaling your business with intentions over emotions. So we're going to help you build and scale your business with intentions over emotions. We're going to have a few guests, periodically here and there. Never know who it's going to be, but every guest is going to be someone with some real life experience on building a business, scaling a business, going through the hardships. People just like yourselves. And we're not going to talk about the law of attraction tonight. However, I would like for you to really focus in on the fact that I really just met TyShame in the past year. And it really just shows me how people that are like-minded will end up in the same places a lot of times. Literally was just at 3 or more events where this young man was at. And we eventually sat down and talked just for a few minutes. He just like last Monday night. It was Monday night, matter of fact, because I remember
Monday night.
Two Taco was closed, and I almost had him follow me to Two Taco. But anyway, we sat down, we talked. We have a lot in common. We was talking about personal development and things like that. So tonight, TyShame is going to talk a little bit about personal development, what it means to him, and also, as I about knocked my laptop off the desk, he's going to talk about being shameless. So welcome to the broadcast, TyShame, and I would like to ask you before we really jump in, because we hit on community a little bit the other day. So as far as community is concerned, because that's one of our goals, is to create a community of like-minded people looking to scale up, looking to do bigger and better things, looking to empower others. What does, just in basic terms, does community mean to you?
Community. Well, first, before I even answer, Mr. Will, I want to thank you for even giving me the opportunity to come on here. And it is amazing how like-minded individuals always attract to individuals. So we might not talk about law of attraction, but the way that we interact and connected with each other is law of attraction, you know?
Yes.
And the great thing about community is this. Me, I'm a young man from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I'm 29 years old with 3 amazing children. And you ever heard the phrase, it takes a village to raise a child? Well, guess
Yes,
what?
absolutely.
And the one thing about that phrase is the community is the same. When I think of community, think of like a tree, and the community and its trees. I love metaphors and being able to tie everything together. But the tree is nothing but like the community, because the roots are our ancestors and those individuals that been able to lay out the groundwork. I was blessed to be able to have my grandfather in my life, where he was a very big advocate in the community, and that is where we can all, from the roots in the foundation, grows the trunk. And that trunk is the people, or the activities inside the community, the boys and girls clubs, the YMCA's, the churches, all these different places that individuals can be able to lean upon to be able to grow and get better. And right now, you got to think about your community, wherever you are. What are you doing to be able to be that branch that people can be able to extend their arm to and be able to help out? Community to me is where everyone is being able to grow and being able to learn something from one another, like and teaching each other. Each one teach one type deal. In the community, I'm very big on that, because I'm like I told you, my grandfather, but me with my kids. Community is nothing but a representation, or you are nothing but the representation of where you come from in your community. So whenever
Right,
you
right.
step outside of your door, you gotta understand your community is nothing but the representation of where you what or the image of what you are. And
Right.
I think that's I answer what community is to me when it comes to that tree of life.
Okay. So also generally people who are working on personal development end up becoming leaders in the community that help that community go, that give guidance to that community. In your own words, what would you say an example of a person that's working on personal development looks like?
So I don't want to be, I don't want to make it too confusing, but it's very basic. It's even in the words itself. Personal development. Personal. Me, when I really learned that phrase, I was a young man, fresh out of high school, and just eager to try to want to get it. I went off to college. I went to Winthrop University, and I studied mass communication. And the beauty of that was when I learned personal development, I learned how we all have a choice, individual. We personal is and you got to make it personal. And the one thing about making it personal is knowing what is your value. What do you really want to seek when it comes to the greatest potential of what you are and what you have. You know, and personal development is nothing but the choice and the decision where you want to be able to personally develop your skills when it comes to the gifts that you have, when it comes to when it comes to little things that you may be able to, that you're probably afraid of right now because it's a little you're uncomfortable because you're not really used to it, but the things that you can be able to lean upon or start trying out that will be able to open up your mind and being able to give you so many opportunities. And one thing I remember I read this book. It's called The Richest Man in Babylon, and it talked about luck. Nothing is ever lucky. It's proper positioning when it comes to the people, places, and things that you put yourself out to. So think of this. You weren't lucky when you put yourself in position, or you use personal development to be able to strengthen your mind to be able to become that entrepreneur or become that doctor. And you know what? You make it personal because you know what? There has to have some purpose on whatever you even want to be able to see. You know? And
Right.
personal development is big to me because my grandfather, like I said, he's an educator and a big in community, and he read a lot of books, and he had millions, not thousands of books, and I never understood why he always kept books until I left college and I came back home to his den, his library, and I started digging through all the books. I found Rich Dad Poor Dad. I start finding all these little different books that I'm like, he was. Oh, well, I said thank you at that moment because I just started taking all the books, blowing the dust off, and started reading. And
He
that
was
was that
freeing
was
his
the start of.
mind.
Hey, it's part of our legacy. What do we want to be able to leave back? And I never knew how important those books that he had inside his den. I'm talking about he had books. I bet you I could find a book. Well, I don't got it, but I got books, as many of books in here from that den that I take and phew, it's a blessing. So personal development is a big part of me and a big part of Shameless Motivation.
All right, that's good stuff. So, you mentioned choice. My little brother always says choice is your superpower. Also, as you talked about personal development, man, you talked a lot about reading. I once heard someone say that readers are leaders and leaders are readers. So it
I
made me
like
think
that.
about something that popped up. Yeah, it's very thought intriguing, and that
Taking
made me
notes
think
now.
about something that you said to me once recently about people being in thought captivity. So I'm wondering, maybe some people are in thought captivity because they don't read and they don't get exposed to the right things uh, via their choice or just maybe being captive in their environment. What was your feedback on thought captivity, and freeing yourself from that mental situation?
We can call it a mental situation, but we'll just say lack of resource. Because some people don't know that a book can be able to unlock a lot in your life when it comes to even just reading somebody else's point of view or a perspective on something that you're trying to learn. That's another piece of personal development. You know what? I got something for you. I got this is the book that I'm reading right now. This is the book that I'm reading right now. Check this out. Let Them.
To
This
let
is a
them.
book by Mel Robbins. And I ran upon this because I was reading. I always see her on different podcasts, and I heard, I was like, let them. Wow, when you hear that phrase, you got a choice, and the choice is, do I let them? Do I let them beat me up because of because of my opinion, or do I let them have their opinion but keep going and trusting in what I believe? And it has so many different it's so many different things about it. But when it comes to just reading and just having that choice, it really is really off of the intentions that you really want to seek for yourself. And that's where we as humans, we get in that thought captivity because we sometimes will only hold ourselves to a certain box, and that box is where I understood this early in my 20s, where people, I'm 20 now, but early in my 20s.
Early though.
Yeah, but early, like, I'm talking about like 18, 19, 20. And right when I started 20, I started realizing, I went to college, and I started seeing different people from different communities, different areas, that had the same liking as me, just in a different little with some different, with a different swag.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, you know what? I was grateful to be the vice president of my student body when I was in school, and I went to graduate from Myrtle Beach High School. And the beauty of that is, I met other vice presidents from their schools, and they had the same liking when it comes to wanting to uplift or just be the best that they can, or being that voice for their community or their peers. Cause it goes a long way. It
Right.
goes a
Right.
real long way. So the captivity that we have in our brain or in our mind is only but not giving ourselves the opportunity to open ourselves out of our comfort zone. Seeing those, being willing to hear out somebody that it may be a little different from us, but has the a little different from you, but has the same outcome that you seek and you desire. So
Comfort
yeah.
zone.
Yeah, you gotta. And it's okay to be uncomfortable, because right when you're outside of your comfort zone, that's where you grow. That's when you know that's where you know how you can be able to conquer all the limitations that may be in front of you. So yeah, man, that's and the choice of that is, what are we willing to want to become? What are we wanting to do with the time that we have here? What is connected to our legacy? That's one thing about getting out of that comfort zone and that thought captivity, and just understanding how books are nothing but the seeds that we can be able to just be able to get and keep in our pocket, and that we can fertilize them over time, because now we have different things that we can be able to use as resources.
Right. That comfort zone. I remember one of my mentors once saying the comfort zone is the coffin. And as you said, nothing grows in the comfort zone. And so if you're not growing, then what happens with a plant? If it's not growing, it's dying. So we
And
definitely always want to be growing. And how do we grow? We read, we expose ourselves to different people that are positive, that are upward mobile, that are moving in a better direction, that are, working towards being their best self. Those are certain things we do to work on personal development. It all starts with the people we hang around, the books we read, the music and audios that we listen to on a daily basis.
yes, sir.
I think it was Monday night when you told me about that book, The Four Agreements, and I downloaded it instantly on Audible. And one of the four agreements in there, I remember you saying something about never question, never assume without
Yeah.
questioning. That is so powerful. Never assume without questioning. So many
Well, look at this.
people will think that they'll think something about a person, but then what they think about that person is wrong.
Check this out.
That's it. That's it. Got it. Laminated. That's it. What? Read all four of them then, since you got them, and that's from the book, The Four Agreements.
Yes, sir. And I got it. I got it. Blood. You see, I got it on my wall every day. And when it comes to the visual, personal development, one thing I learned is, when you can see it, you can believe it. And the one thing about seeing certain things is it has to be something that's going to be able to you can be able to grow from. The first agreement, it says to be impeccable with your word.
Be impeccable with your words. That right there sounds like personal development. Being impeccable with your words
What is
sounds like
impeccable?
someone that's been through something and they know exactly where they desire to end up. So when they speak, they're speaking with certainty and speaking
Yes,
with power. Be impeccable with your words. Mean what you say and say what you mean. Oh my goodness.
yes, yes, sir. And
Batter up.
hey, I even commend you because I think we got our we go to the gym a lot. And we see each other, we pass by. But no, it was a moment where I think I said I'm gonna try to get back at you. You're like whoa you caught me. You were like no you will. Don't try, you will. And it was like that was an example of being impeccable. Because if you have any uncertainty with your word, then there is kind of like a I hope it works out. No, you want
Right.
to know that it will work out.
Right.
But
Because
now the
hope
second,
deferred makes the heart grow sick.
ooh, he preaching. But
That's
now
what
the
I
second
heard
agree.
in a book. That's what I read in a book. Hope deferred makes the heart grow sick.
We over here we talking about what we done read in the book. We talking about
Ah,
personal development.
God.
Don't take anything personally. That's agreement number two. When you don't take anything personally, that's where you have to understand. That's a root. I think that's a key to communication. And when it comes to taking things personally, everyone communicates in a lot of different ways. And you'll never know when somebody might not be in a great state of mind one day, or they just had a bad morning and they're trying to just get out of it, and they clash at you, and they say something that you're like, and you fall back and you're like, oh my goodness, I didn't know Katie was like that. Like she didn't have to, and now you hurt. And now you feel like either you're hurt, you're mad, or you sad. And you have the choice to be able to respond. And that response that you even have is now, do I look at her and say, all right, Katie, you know what? I understand that you might be having a bad morning. I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna give you your space, and I'm gonna
Right.
let you go ahead and do your thing. Or this is the other choice. I can't believe you came over here and you would do that to me, and you didn't even know what she had going on at home. And the beauty of that is now you judging her actions towards you just because now you feel like she's talking to you, and she might just be talking to somebody that she just got out of a conversation with, and now she don't even know how to let go of it. So if you take that's where taking things personally, we have to learn that we must not. And that's where we have to understand that everyone is a human being, just like yourself. And you have bad days and you have good days. And you don't want anyone to be able to try to think that you're trying to beat them up when you were just communicating a little bit wrong because it was a little tough today. It was tough. And it's okay.
Just
But
give a
that's
little
where
grace.
yeah, you gotta give yourself grace. But don't make assumptions. The real agreement number three is this. I always tell people this. To not make assumptions is to not put any words in somebody's mouth until you let them speak. But until you let them speak is now you ask the question like, but before like you're in a relationship, before you even try to assume what they about to say, you're like, all
Right.
right, check this out. You had a y'all had a rough morning, and you know you got to come home, and she gets home before you, right? She gets home before you. Now y'all had a clash in that. Y'all had a clash,
Right.
and right when you get home, you say, well, I ain't gonna talk about anything that you want to talk about. And you see how I just said I just made up the conversation of what you about to say, and I don't want to deal with it before you even ask. Hey babe, how you doing? How was your day? That's good. And now it goes vice versa. And
Right.
all right, let me tell you. I've been in relationships, and I understand. You know what? I'm not perfect, but this is something I've learned. And when it comes to something I've learned is I would never want to put words in somebody's mouth until they can be able to say what they want to say, not what I think they about to say. That's where the assumptions can come in and really bite us after the fact before we even go in with impulse of thinking that we know what somebody else is going to say.
Right,
That's even in
right.
business. That's it. That's in fear of not wanting to take consideration or reach out to that individual that could be able to be that relief or that branch for you, because you may think, oh, they don't got time for me, or they won't answer the phone. Guess what? You never know until you try. And Crazy Faith, another book by Pastor Michael Side. It's only crazy until it happens. Crazy faith. Yep. And the fourth agreement, and I'm about to wrap it up, is to always do your best. Because if you always do your best, you never leave any gray area of the I shoulda, woulda, I coulda, and I wish I coulda. No, it's if you do your best, you put your best foot forward. You had the right intent of knowing what you want to be able to pour into anybody when it comes to yourself or anybody or anything. That's even any gift or anything that you want to be able to aspire to want to go. Always do your best. If you want to do a hobby, if you want to get a better diet, if you want to go start going to the gym, don't go in there and don't go there and half do it. Do it 100, and you can see the results. Come on,
Right,
now, and
right.
those are the four agreements. Those are the four agreements, and I'm gonna put this back on the wall after we get done.
All right, all right. Well, hey, look, just wanted to have a little conversation, just a real conversation, because the other day, like I said, we talked about some things, and I'm like, you know what? We just met, but the world needs to hear some of the things that you were saying, from the thought captivity stuff. That right there is just things people don't normally think about. Are you really trapped in your thought, and why are you trapped in your thought, and how can you get out of being trapped in your thought captivity? And some of those answers are getting around positive, motivated, upward mobile, sharp, ambitious people, reading better books, listening to better audios, reading books like the Four Agreements, and digesting the things that you read in those books, as well as discussing those things with other people that are upward mobile, sharp, ambitious types of people that can help get you into different environments that's going to help expand your mind and help you grow, and thus for creating a better form of personal development within yourself. So that's amazing. Also mentioned that you were at several events that my wife and I recently ended up being at. And you don't have to put it out there price wise, but put it this way: if someone wanted to book you for like emceeing a program, how would they find you?
You always can be able to find and contact me on social media, and my name is Ty Shame, TyShame space LEWIS, TyShame Lewis. That's where you can be able to find me. And if you wanted to find my business, Shameless Motivation, that's where we also I've been able to create a platform of for personal development and just understand how to unlock the gifts that everyone has been given, but having a community that you can be able to lean on. But the one thing is, if you want me to be able to come and MC, you can reach me online, or you can also call my business phone. My business number 843-855-6494, and we have a real conversation. And one thing that about these opportunities that I've been able to have with MCing and being able to put light, shed light upon all these different individuals' uh, events is what we all have a purpose and a will to want to inspire someone, and now it's just being able to be that resource to a lot of different individuals. And MCN has been able to open so many doors, but I just been able to, I just am grateful to be able to have opportunity to be able to just share my gift with everyone, and just my testimony. And if you MCN, I don't want to just sit here and say that there is just a price limit. But if you can reach me you can reach me on my cell, or you can reach me on social media. We can be able to have an understanding of what your event is going to be about. What's your topic? What are you going to be speaking about? What kind of audience are we dealing with? And then we can be able to tie everything together, and we're gonna be able to rock out and make your event shine.
Make
So
it a win-win
that's
situation.
say it again.
Make it a win-win situation for everybody.
Yeah, yeah. I always say, and if you ever, I do a lot of this, public speaking events too. I love this quote. We all have to be of resource rather than a liability. Because people love resources that they can be able to. be used and get better at. But people don't like to be around liable individuals that if they come around that it's liable that something bad can happen, or or it's liable that they ain't about to pay the bill, or they gonna need help, and it's okay. But it be of resource rather than a liability. And I tell my kids that, I tell youth groups that, I tell everyone that be of resource rather than a liability.
That right there is a nugget that we can sum it up on. Keep up with your personal development and check out TyShame Productions, TyShame Motivations and Promotions. I mean, the man got it going on because he does it all. I'm inspired by him, and we about to get on out of here. Thank you for coming on. Thanks for showing up and showing out. And we'll just say farewell for now to the rest of the world.
To the next event.